So yeah, I'm gonna hand it all over to you.
Okay, hey everybody. How's everybody doing today? Great, great. My name is Arman Henderson. I wear many hats. One of those being a doctor at University of Miami Hospital. Um, I did my residency here at Jackson Memorial Hospital, and I decided to stay here. Uh, I first want to talk about how I got here. I'm a transplant, as you all would say. I'm from Philadelphia. Yeah, Philadelphia. Definitely one of the blackest cities in the United States. Um, Also, probably one of the most queer as well. Um, and I moved down here for residency, and I decided that this felt like a great place for me to stay, like you all did, and I continue to stay here. And so I first want to say that I was so honored when Akaya asked me to talk with you all about some of the services that we have at the Healing and Justice Center. Um, my little story is that when I first moved here, everybody thinks that Miami is a party city, that it's the city that never sleeps, it's a vacation city, and it is all those things. But it's also a city that black people, poor and marginalized people are also suffering as well. Um, and when I touched down I went to medical school in Nashville, Tennessee at an HBCU called Meharry Medical College. And when I touched down in Miami, I was like, I need to be grounded in real people, around people that I could vibe with outside of the hospital. And so one of the first organizations that I reached out to was Dream Defenders. And so Dream Defenders, black-led organization, started after the death of Trayvon Martin. But they continued to do great work after they took over the Capitol building in Tallahassee until charges were brought against his murderer. And through that work, I've met a lot of interesting people. And I want to fast forward to an interesting person that I met during what you all have described as mutual aid. Yeah. During COVID-19, one of the things that happened was that we found that the city and our local government really wasn't paying enough attention to those that were unsheltered in Miami-Dade County when it came to things like testing and treatment and just information around COVID-19. But they also were not really talking directly to poor and marginalized black people either. So one of the things that we did was that we set up basically a mutual aid site that ran for 12 hours a day. And what had happened was Akaya came to volunteer with us, and he was there for maybe like 4 or 5 months working this mutual aid site in which we were taking care of some of the most vulnerable people in Miami-Dade County. And through that experience, we had a really intimate conversation around Masisi, the organization that he started, and that's why I'm here today. Really got to know Akaya, a beautiful person, and since that time that we had that mutual aid site, that hygiene site where people could just take a shower, could wash their hands, could talk to someone who understood their struggles, in which we had other individuals that were working at the site as well, other than Akaya, that were also queer. And one of the things that I noticed is that anytime it's a mutual aid thing going on where people are delivering a service to marginalized individuals, you always find queer people at the center of that work. And I think it's because you all understand how it feels to have nobody that cares for you and things of that nature. And so you put yourselves in situations where you can be available for those in need. And I do the same thing as well, coming from a poor and marginalized community in Philadelphia. But since we had that hygiene site, we're doing a lot more than that, and that's why I was invited to talk to you today. So with Dream Defenders, in my capacity of their Director of Health Programs, we started the Healing and Justice Center, the Healing and Justice Coalition. And basically, I'm going to start by saying, imagine a time. I want you to close your eyes. I got this from Rachel Gilmer, who runs Dream Defenders. Just close your eyes for me, and I want you to imagine a time in your life where you felt safe. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel? How did you feel? And I'm going to just give you a couple seconds just to ruminate about when you felt safe.
This is crazy, but the first time where I felt really safe and I felt like I was in a space where I just felt loved was when I first went to Masisi last year. The first time, Juneteenth last year, was the first time I felt like I was in a space where I was accepted, truly accepted. I saw my people. I was just like, wow, wow. I want everyone to experience this. Like, I need that. I genuinely need that. That was the first time I was like, wow.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Does anybody else want to comment? Just one more. How they felt, what they saw, what they heard. You got a hand in the back right here. Yes.
So I'm a Cancer, and I hope I don't cry because I get emotional. But I just remember being like 5 years old, just like in my mom's bed, just like hugging her and like hearing her heartbeat. And
it's okay, baby.
I'm sorry, y'all. I told you I was a Cancer. Just like hearing her heartbeat, and in that moment, just knowing like I was protected, I was okay. I didn't have to think about anything because my caregiver had me.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing, for those of you who did. When we do this exercise, no one ever opens their eyes and says, oh, it was when police were around. When we had prisons that were filled with black and brown people that look like us. Usually the times we feel safe are around people who we know, and around people who we know care for us wholeheartedly. And so that's the genesis of the work that we do within the Healing and Justice Center. We create programming that is outside of police, that is outside of prisons, because the reality is we spend too much money on those things. And while we're spending money on police that don't care about us, that harm us, that add to the violence that we incur in the communities that we live in, we're taking money away from social workers, case managers, mutual aid workers who are able to give us access to things like ID or therapy, or mental health care, or health care in general, or housing. And because we as a society spend so much money on police and prisons, we don't really get a chance to feel safe in a community where we should be thriving, right? And the reality is that when you go to a well-to-do community, they don't have a lot of police. They have community centers. They have therapists. They have other individuals who are paid to make sure that the community is running correctly. And so within the Healing and Justice Center, we heard a cry from individuals across the United States that we need to defund the police. And the Healing and Justice Center is the antipathy to that. These are things that we need to fund. So within the Healing and Justice Center, there are 4 organizations. There's the Dream Defenders, there's Beyond the Bars, there is Dade County Street Response, which is an organization I started, and then there is Circle of Brotherhood. And I'm going to start with Dream Defenders. We started a mental health mobile crisis line that responds to people within a 5-mile radius of Liberty City. We understood that if police are showing up to individuals with serious mental illness, they are 16 times more likely to be shot and killed, probably more likely to be harmed, and that the police are not trained to show up to our communities and to deliver the type of care that we deserve. And so Dream Defenders understood that, and Both myself and Brother Al, who is here with us today, are two workers that respond to mental health crises should you call our number, which is 1-866-SAFE-MIA. So we do have flyers that we can give you all about those services. We have an individual who is on the phone Monday through Friday to kind of answer calls and to really decide whether or not it is a situation in which we would send the van, but otherwise we do have other resources that we're able to connect individuals to as well. Okay, so that's one. We also have therapists that are on board that are able to deliver therapy in person. And then we have therapists that we pay for people to get access to therapists online as well. So if you call that number and you're having a crisis and you want to talk to an individual that can help you through that crisis, you can call the number and we'll connect you with those things as well for free. Everything I'm talking about is for free. The other thing that we offer is youth services. You know, a lot of time that you'll see in the community that there are not enough youth programming and not enough things for our young people to do where they can be their wholehearted selves, where they can do things that are outside of the box of normal things that youth do in Miami-Dade County. And so we have a youth program that's going to start next week as well. That's free too. You can call 1-866-SAFE-MIA if you know somebody under the age of 18 that is on the street within a 5-mile radius of Liberty City, and they can be involved in that too. Beyond the Bars is another organization who basically goes into the prison system and gets people out. So far, we've gotten 10 people out. Some of those individuals were serving life behind bars. And basically what we do is we bring people from the community to vouch for that individual to a courtroom, and we talk to the judge and say, these are the services we can provide for this individual. They're not getting these services in jail behind bars. They should be let out of prison. And the times that I've been involved with it, we've gotten those individuals out of prison. It's run by a young lady named Maya, but individuals in the community are also trained to do the work as well. She's a lawyer from Harvard. And so if you have a loved one who is behind bars and likely there for something like sex work or can't afford bail and things of that nature, then you can also call to get access to those services as well. The other organization is Circle of Brotherhood, in which Brother Al Muhammad is a part of as well. And these are the individuals who are going to start responding to violent emergencies as well. So instead of calling the police, we're going to have trained crisis interventionists who can show up to, if someone has a weapon or something of that nature, to de-escalate the situation and not bring more harm to it outside of the police and prison and industrial complex, and basically see it to the person is in some sort of safety as well. And then lastly, Dade County Street Response, which is my organization, we put physicians into the community and outside of the hospital doors. One of the things I know about medicine is that it's very corporatized, that you really can't see a physician unless you're in the emergency room. And so because of that, I run a free urgent care in Liberty City at 5505 Northwest 7th Avenue. That's right by the Burger King on 54th and 7th. We're open 3 days a week. And you can just come. Some of the individuals in this room I've seen myself, and we get them access to the care that they deserve no matter what it is. We will get it there, and we'll do it for free as well. So those are some of the services that we offer within the Healing and Justice Center. We treat people as humans. If you come through my door and I see you, I will treat you like I treat my brother, like I treat my sister. And if I don't, please hold me accountable to that as well. So that's why I'm here. I was brought here to tell you about the services that we provide. I hope I get a chance to interact with you all. We do have flyers and things of that nature that we can pass out for individuals. And at this point, I'll take questions.
Yeah, we wanted to open up the floor for our community to ask him what we need from the Healing and Justice Center and how it can better serve us and specifically from our community. Anybody that has a question, this is your moment.
Yes.
Dr. Henderson. We know each other, y'all. But no, I wonder, especially for queer identifying folks in Liberty City and in that area, Overtown, how are you guys getting out the message to them that you exist? And not just that you exist, but that they are welcomed there.
Yeah, that's a good question. We haven't done any like direct targeting of those individuals in Overtown and Liberty City, but we've been knocking on people's doors and just letting them know that we exist. We've been telling about all the services that we provide, and you know, I guess I've just been telling people to tell their friends from marginalized communities in general to come and see me and to, you know, see if they can get the things that they need. But I'm hoping that with the more people that come into the clinic that are from different communities, LGBT, et cetera, that when they feel comfortable and they get the care that they need, that they're telling their friends that these are the things that they need as well. I also work with a young lady named Lisa Carver, and she's very like involved in the Miami ballroom community. And so she's always sending individuals to me to get access to the care that they need. And I think the more that I get the word out, the more that people come and see us and, you know, have a good experience with the services that we provide, that they'll understand that it is a safe space for them to be as well. But we could do a better job targeting it. If you have any ideas, yeah. Good.
Anybody else has any questions?
Hello there, Soleil Sunshine, she, her pronouns, and my question's about telehealth or like accessing folks not in person. Could you go a little bit more into what services y'all do?
Yeah, so we use, thank you for the question. We use an online platform called BetterHelp, and we have couple hundred slots that we can basically connect you with a therapist online for free. I think you get like 8 sessions. And that individual, I think that they can do through like a laptop or over the phone as well. They can also do text message. And so there are different modalities that we can get you connected with a therapist if you need one. But we also have in-person therapists as well. That we can connect you to in Liberty City at Dream Defender's new office, which is at 8th and 54th in Liberty City as well.
And do you have to be a Miami resident to access those?
Technically, but not technically. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if you are open to possibly adopting the peer support model versus speaking to therapists just because of mandate reporting and how that affects those who come to you for care?
Absolutely. Our model within the mobile crisis team, right now we have a licensed social worker. Of course, I'm a doctor. We have a crisis interventionalist. But our goal as we expand the mobile crisis line is to train people from the community. So we're going to have, you know, we do have calls for volunteers, and we can train you about how to be, you know, someone who responds to individual trauma and things of that nature. So yeah, we do. We want to adopt that. We are going to adopt the peer support model because that is the strongest model to reach out to individuals who are in crisis. The other thing I want to tell you about it that we're starting is a sobering center as well. A lot of times when someone calls the police, they call it on people who are inebriated, who may be intoxicated from any sort of drug or something like that. And usually they go to the prison or they go to the hospital. But instead of that, now we're saying that you should come to the sobering center. And at the sobering center, we do have a peer support model in which people who are recovering addicts and things of that nature will be there to help lend support to individuals. And what we're hoping is that, you know, people from this community step up and also become trained to be a part of our team as well. So that's another thing. If you wanna participate in what we have going on, if you wanna volunteer, if you wanna be trained, etc., then you should also call the number 1-866-SAFE-MIA and let it's going to be Rachel who answers the phone. Let her know that you'd like to volunteer, because as we expand, we'll be looking to train individuals in these spaces as well.
Anybody else has any questions? All right.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. You can call the number 1-866-SAFE-MIA. I also have an Instagram. It's dr.doitall305. You can connect with me on there as well. Okay? All right. Thank you so much.
One more time for Dr. Arman Henderson. So yeah, hold tight. We're about to transition into the party portion.